Card games, especially nowadays, are here in plentiful. There are a lot of people that think we're in a bit of a TCG bubble. There's a lot of words, things going around, and you can find a TCG for anybody. If there's a specific IP they like, maybe there's a specific type of game they like, whatever the case may be. Yet, somehow, through sheer luck and will, I found myself on a little game called Gundam Card Game. And I think you should get on it too. Now, as for me personally, I've been playing all sorts of board, card, video games pretty much my whole life, as I'm sure a lot of us have. And when it comes to card games in particular, I have always dabbled, at least for the most part, but never gotten super serious about any of them. I've played some Yu-Gi-Oh! With my friends, I've played some Pokemon TCG with my friends. I mean, heck, the Final Fantasy set came out for Magic, and I am a Final Fantasy VII head through and through, so I had to get the Cloud deck in order to play some Commander with my friends and swing a big Buster Sword. Okay, that's always really fun, and it's always been super casual for me. The one game that I took seriously, however, was Hearthstone. And some of you are gonna be picky, and some of the old heads might be annoying and like, it doesn't count as a card game. It's a card game. Get over yourself. It's just digital instead of physical. And with Hearthstone, I played it a ton. I hit Legend. I was super serious about it. It was very fun. I enjoyed it a lot. But I never got that same feeling from any card game before, and I didn't know why. And eventually, Hearthstone turned into what it is now, and it kind of became what I wasn't a fan of. It was very RNG heavy for a long time. I don't know the current meta of things, but I would assume it hasn't changed a whole lot. But I loved the core principle. And then the Gundam card game was releasing, and I have a friend who is crazy into Gundam, Gunpla, all that kind of stuff, and he came to me and he was like, hey, Zane, you gotta try this out. Try this new little game coming out, all right? It's the Gundam card game. We can give a little test run. I was like, okay, sure, we'll try it. And safe to say, I fell in love. Now, I want to be very clear going into this because I think this is a very important point. I have watched that much Gundam. Zero. I don't know anything about any of the shows. Prior to playing the card game, I could not have named you a single character. That's not an exaggeration. I literally could not have named a single one. I couldn't have named any of the mechs. I couldn't have named any of the factions. I could have did nothing. I knew literally nothing about it, so I went into this fully blind with no attachment to the IP. And I think that's what really, really speaks for the Gundam card game. That's kind of my first point as to why you should be giving the Gundam card game a chance, is as someone who knew nothing about it, could care less about it, if the Gundam IP disappeared tomorrow, it wouldn't hurt me on the inside because I don't know nothing about it except for the card game now. But even if you see that and you're like, I don't really know Gundam, whatever, don't let that dissuade you. The fact that the Gundam name is tied to it does not matter. Now, the reason I clarify that is I think TCGs, especially as of the last few years, have really tried to capitalize on IP. A perfect example for this is Union Arena. Now, Union Arena players, don't come at me, okay? It's fine. The game is okay. I have played it. It's not a bad game. It's not for me, okay? I'll say that. People can enjoy it. It's not for me. And I just don't think it's like the most great designed card game in the world. But the drawing factor is, oh, I can play my favorite Jujutsu Kaisen characters. Oh, I can play my Attack on Titan deck. Oh, I can play my Full Metal Alchemist deck, right? And that's sick. I think that does have a place in the world, especially in a situation where you want to play all these different funny characters against different characters. Yes, it has a place. But that is not what this game's focus was, which I think is what makes it so great. Now, this part is going to be mostly focused on how the gameplay of it functions, so you can decide if you're interested in that. Now, one thing I will say is if you played OG Hearthstone back in the day, this gives me the same feeling. The life totals don't work the same, but besides that, it is, I'm going to play a big boy with a health stat and an attack stat, and you're going to have to play your big boy with a health stat and an attack stat, and we're going to ram these bad boys against each other and see what happens, okay? And it's just such a pure, beautiful, simplistic gameplay system that is so rewarding and so fun to learn and get good at. It is one of those games that hits the very rare, simple to learn, hard to master, which is super tough to do, especially nowadays when so many games already exist. It's hard to be creative and find your new spot, but Gundam managed to do it. And so what you'll find when you're playing the card game is it's super focused on being very proactive and being very particular about how you lose your cards, or use your cards rather, and trying not to lose them. Because if you are trading, one card for two cards, that's really, really good. If you can get one card to trade for 3 or 4 cards from your opponent, oh, you are doing doing great, wonderful things. But if your opponent is out trading you, you're probably going to run out of resources. And that is a lot of this game, is really managing those resources, the mechs, the pilots, the commands, and stuff that you use. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, awesome. Go play the game. Another thing I want to mention that has actually gone impressively well is just the balance slash meta of the game. Bandai is unfortunately known for having card games that come out and pretty quickly get lost in the sauce way too much. Now, I have never played games like Digimon, games like One Piece, games like whatever they have cooking on over there, okay? I haven't played these games. However, from what I hear from outsourcing and friends that have played them or have tried them, they pretty quickly have gone to bad levels. Now, I won't say the One Piece card game, that game is still very beloved, very whatever, but for things like the Dragon Ball card game, things like the Digimon card game, they have their place, they have their fan base, and that's awesome. But from what I've heard is that they've gotten a little jank, all right? And it didn't take long for them to get there, and that happens. They haven't done that with Gundam, and we are currently 2 sets in and 6 starter decks in. We're not super deep, but it looks really good. Set 1 came out with the 4 starter decks as well, and it was super nice. We had a meta where there were like 3 or 4 pretty solid decks that all had kind of a different game plan that would really like lean into a different person's niche, into maybe what they wanted or didn't want out of a deck. It was really solid. There was no super clear best deck in format. There was one that was like winning most events, but it still had some hefty competition and wasn't just a guaranteed win by playing it, which is super nice to see. Set 2 then rolled around, and it kind of just did the same. It stayed pretty steady, it didn't power creep super hard, it gave some more options to kind of combat what was the somewhat oppressive aggro deck that existed, and then it provided a whole new archetype in Clan, and people love playing the Clan archetype because it's very fun and it feels very rewarding to play. And this has kind of been their system so far. They've already been doing some leaks for set 3 as well, and releasing some cards for that, and it looks like we're going to get some similar things. Now, I am not dumb. I do understand kind of general card game creation. There needs to be some power creep. If there is no power creep ever, then okay, the game's going to get stale and very boring, and you're never going to get anything fun or new and exciting. And they are releasing some stuff that does seem like, hey, this might be a cool, step up from something, but nothing that feels, looks, or seems game breaking, which is super, super good to see, especially going into a 3rd set. Speaking of 3rd set, that is another reason that if you are not or have not tried the game, now is the time to do it. It is so baby fresh. It came out July of 2025, which as of recording this video is 5-ish months ago. Like, it was not long ago at all. The game is still so new, still has a very budding scene. If you're ever going to get into a card game, you want to do it in the beginning, before there's a bunch of history and a bunch of meta and a bunch of whatever that you have to learn. Now is the time. And not only is now the time to do it, but you can play it for free. One, they have a mobile phone kind of teaching app that is super good for learning the ropes and super good for deciding if you like the game. It is completely free. It costs you literally nothing, and you can just download it on your phone to try, which is super, super cool. There are also some alternative methods of playing. You can play on Tabletop Simulator like you can a lot of other card games. You can also play on websites like Mobile Suit Arena or Zumbo Sim, which are both super solid ways to go and actually play other people rather than just the computer of the teaching app. But I highly recommend the teaching app for just seeing if it's a style of game for you. Now, all this being said, I want to be super clear that this is not like some sponsored ad video. I wish. I mean, if the Gundam card game wants to hit me up, I mean, I'm not going to say no, but this is just out of me loving the game. I think it has been super, super fun. I've gotten a big chunk of my friends into it. We started off in our local area game store with like 4, 5-ish players consistently, not very many. And we've already gone up to almost 10 to our weekly events. And it's just growing. And to be clear, we are one of the smaller stores in the area. A lot of other stores are seeing anywhere between like 12 to 20-ish people. Like, it really goes up. And then for the bigger events, you'll see more than 30, sometimes upwards of like 40, 50 people showing up to these tournaments. The game is awesome, the game is big, and there's a lot of people playing it. And this is me telling you from a personal, hey, it's a good game. I'm not being paid to tell you this. I wish I was, frankly. So, long story short, to close it out, should you try it? Yeah, obviously, it's free and you can play it on your phone. Just search up Gundam Card Game on your app store and you can find it, and it's super easy to do. See if you like it, and if you do like it, join the community. There's a Discord with a lot of people that can help you, in terms of figuring out how to play online, doing stuff like that, finding local events. And they currently have their regionals playing through. So now's a better time than ever to get into it because you have a lot of like viewing stuff that you'll be able to see. The first World Championships are right around the corner. They're supposed to be, I believe, like February of 2026, somewhere in there. So, what better time to get in? But I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope I've convinced some of y'all to join this awesome community. Hopefully, I'm going to be posting some more Gundam card game stuff on this channel. So, if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out.